Dumplings are the perfect bite-sized pockets of flavour and they are so fun to make. All you need is a few simple ingredients and a bit of time. Start by making the filling for the dumplings. This can easily be done ahead of time and stored in the fridge until you need it or just before you wrap them. There are so many options or flavour combinations of dumplings, but for today I'm keeping it simple for this recipe and going with the classic pork and cabbage. You'll need about a cup of shredded cabbage, and this worked out to be 4 leaves. Cut the stems from the cabbage, roll it up as tight as possible and shred it fine using a sharp knife. I'm using Napa cabbage, which is a type of Chinese cabbage for this recipe. You should be able to find this either in your grocery store or in an Asian food market. If you can't, or you already have green cabbage on hand, it's perfectly fine to use that instead. Scoop up the cabbage with the side of your knife and place it into a medium-sized mixing bowl along with the minced pork. You don't have to use pork for this recipe. I think it works best, but minced chicken or beef can be substituted instead. You'll also need about 1/4 cup of green onion or scallion for flavour. Slice it fine with your knife and add to the bowl. If you'd like the full recipe for these pork and cabbage dumplings, it will be on my website as well as the full measurements in the description box below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my other recipes. Let me know in the comments below what your favourite flavour combination or the weirdest flavour of dumplings you've tried. I've tried a few, but I don't think you can beat pork and cabbage. Next, clean down your work surface and use a microplane to grate in the garlic and ginger. Please use fresh, not the jar stuff, as it has nowhere near the amount of flavour. One tip I have for storing fresh ginger is in the freezer. It'll last for ages. Just remove it 15 minutes or so before you need it and you'll be able to cut a piece right off. Lastly, for the filling, we'll need a few sauces to help combine the ingredients together and give some flavour. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce or oyster sauce and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. I prefer using soy sauce, but oyster sauce works well if you like the flavour. Measure out the liquids into the mixing bowl and use a wooden spoon to mix the ingredients until they are well combined. This mixture can now be stored in the fridge or frozen until you're ready to use it, or you can start to wrap the dumplings right away. To make the dumplings, you'll need some dumpling wrappers. I'm not making my own today, you can if you would like, but the pre-made dumpling wrappers are cheap and easy, so I usually use those. They usually come frozen, but you should be able to find them in your grocery store or Asian food market. To wrap the dumplings, get a wrapper and use your fingers to wet the outside so it will stick together. Place about a tablespoon's worth of filling in the centre. Make sure not to overfill or you'll have a lot of trouble wrapping the dumplings. Fold the wrapper over the filling and press the centre to stick together. Then begin folding one side of the wrapper and press it into the other side. It's quite hard to explain, so watching is a much easier way to understand. Continue with the dumpling until you have done each side. Press to make sure it's all well sealed and won't open during cooking, set to the side and continue with the remaining. This is only one way of folding dumplings. There are so many different ways, so find one you like. Search on YouTube for dumpling folding videos and try a number of ways. It also takes a few tries to get it, so don't fret if your first few don't turn out well. Another easier way to fold them is in thirds, bringing the sides up and folding each third together. When your dumplings have been folded, they are ready to be cooked. You can also freeze them at this point, just coat them in flour so they won't stick together. Heat a medium-sized non-stick fry pan on medium heat and add a few teaspoons of vegetable oil. Add the dumplings bottom side down and leave to cook for about 5 minutes to get some colour. Make sure not to overcrowd the pan so the dumplings don't stick together. When the dumpling has some good colour, turn the heat to low and add about 1/4 cup of water and place on the lid to steam the dumplings for a further 5 minutes or until cooked through. Serve the dumplings with the dipping sauce. I'll have my favourite dipping sauce in the description box below or on my website. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I will see you in my next video.